Hello, my name is Dr. Teresa Morris, and I'm the coordinator of the Pathway Distance Education Program here at the School of Social Work at California State University, San Bernardino. You can probably hear a bit of an accent, and yes, I'm originally from England, but I also lived in Australia before I came to California in 1989 to work with Cal State San Bernardino to set up the School of Social Work. But right now what I do is coordinate the distance education program. The idea behind this presentation is to give you an overview of the program and to give you information about how you can apply to the program. The Social Work Pathway Distance Education Program is an alternative option for students who cannot come to campus and take part in education in the traditional way in a face-to-face setting. So the mission of the Pathway program is to offer accredited professional education to students, as I say, who are unable to attend the main campus at Cal State. There are usually two reasons for this. One is obviously distance. We don't have a particular distance in mind. We simply ask you in your application to explain why the distance you have to travel makes it impossible for you to attend classes on campus. The other reason is that you may have responsibilities in your personal life that make it impossible for you to come to campus. Just as a third point, out-of-state students can apply, and then we have to check whether your home state gives us authorization to offer distance education in your state. If we have that authorization, then indeed you can apply to our program. So why is it called a pathway program? Well, this pathway program offers social work education. So here's a brief overview, sort of snapshot, if you like, of the three-year program. It does have the same structure as our on-campus three-year program, and you can find that structure at our website that you see here. Overall, the curriculum is a generalist curriculum. By that, we mean that all students get foundation and advanced courses in both micro social work practice and macro social work practice. Micro practice being working with individuals, families, and groups, and macro practice being working with organizations and communities at the local, national, and international level. So that's basically what students get. In addition, in the advanced year, we focus on three major social work roles: change agent, working as a person in an interdisciplinary context, and leader. So in the final year, a student learns about these three roles: being a change agent, being someone who can work in an interdisciplinary context, and a leader. In addition, students choose a specialization. They can choose, you can choose a topic, a client group, a social problem, and then in the final year of the program, all the assignments you do relate to that specialization. And there's more information about that when you enter the program. All classroom courses are offered at a distance online. They're asynchronous. The information is loaded and it's there for you to do at a time when you can do it. There's also a mandatory annual 3-day orientation, which is on campus at Cal State San Bernardino. It's in the first full week of August, meaning the first week that begins on a Monday. And you do need to attend that every year, and that is mandatory. We really feel we need to see you face to face once a year. And then finally, there's a field placement component, which requires a commitment of 16 hours a week in the second year of the program and 20 hours a week in the third year of the program. And that part takes place in your community. It's a field placement in a social work setting near you. We come out and assess agencies, or we already have settings in your area, but it has to be a setting that can offer you an MSW level of education. And as I say, you would need to complete this number of hours. So how do you apply to the program? Well, to do that, you need to go to the Cal State Apply link on the CSU website. And here's the address for that at Cal State. Once you get there, you need to select the Social Work Distance Education option under the San Bernardino Extended Education option. And then once you get there, you're in and you're ready to do the application. You need to do the application to the MSW, the general application, and then in addition you need to do the additional form that's there for applying to the Pathway Distance Education program. If you're a person that's applying for the Title IV-E stipend, which is the child welfare stipend, which means you need to be an employee of a county children's services agency, then you also need to fill out that application. The deadline for all applications is the last Friday in January. And so it's good to get it there by then. If you do by then, we guarantee we will review your application. If you get your application after that, if you get your application in after that date, then we will review your file if there still is space in the program. So it's not absolutely guaranteed, but we will review your file if we have space. So having got your application packet, now how do you put in a strong application? Well, the core of the application is your personal statement. So please write a good one. And by that I mean is we have questions that we ask you to respond to. And we ask them for very good reasons, and these are things we want to know about you. So please respond to those questions. That sounds obvious, but we get so many applications where the student does not respond to our questions. So please do that. Also, references are important. It would be good to have an academic reference and a work reference and then one other. We only ask for 3 references. But for example, if you have a lower GPA, you would want to address that in your personal statement, why that happened. And also it would be good to have an academic reference explaining why that happened. As I say, we only need 3 references, so don't go looking for extra ones thinking that will make your application stronger. We won't look at them, we'll only look at 3. If a referee would like to write a support letter as well as the form, that would be good. But that's basically how the references work. We also ask you to write 2 vignettes. We give you a couple of scenarios and ask you to write about them. This is sort of for us to start to understand how you would work with people and what your understanding is of working with people. So please pay attention to those and put some thought and reflection into them. Please make sure you write well in all of this. Often students will write well in the personal statement and then write badly in the vignette, sort of just rush it. I don't know why that happens, but please don't do that. Make sure you write well. That's very important. That could really bring you down. And then make sure that you've checked the prerequisite form. We have 4 courses that are prerequisites for the program, and you'll see them in the packet. One is a human biology course, one is a socialization course, and one is a social science research methods course. The fourth is the upper division writing requirement that all graduate programs require, and you can get information about that when you see the packet. So just pay attention to these things, put thought and reflection into your application, try not to do a rush job, try to write well, and that you will then have a strong application. The process is that a individual faculty review your file sort of separately, not knowing what other faculty have said, and then a committee reviews your file, and then a decision is made. So decisions start going out probably in March. We have to get all the files organized and put together in February. We start meeting, and then probably in March the first decisions will start going out. So that's how it works. So what does the program cost? Well, here you can see the costs per year. It costs, the program altogether is 90 units, and it costs $400 a unit. So you can see in year one, you do slightly fewer classes. We sort of ease you into this program. So in year one, you basically do 2 classroom courses a quarter, and you do not do field. And so it costs less because you are doing fewer units. When you get into year two, that's when you start doing your first year of field placement, and so you're doing more units and the program gets more expensive, as you can see here. Year 3 is the most expensive year. That's when you really have a heavy workload. You have 20 hours a week in your field placement, and you have, as you can see, 12 units of courses. I'm sorry, well, you can see altogether you have 12 units of courses per quarter. So that's the breakdown of the cost per quarter, and the total cost comes out to $36,000 for the whole 3 years, which is slightly more than the on-campus program. It's hard to say what the on-campus program costs because of all the additional fees that come and go and change, but I would say that the on-campus program is more like in the high 20,000s, and then this one is as you can see, 36,000. But you also get an iPad. We give you an iPad to start off with, and we do this because then we know you have the technology that you need to take part in meetings and be able to get onto Blackboard. So there you have it. That's the cost of the program. Okay, so let's go on to the field practicum. How does that work? Well, first of all, let me introduce you to Shira Harris, who is the coordinator of field education for the Pathway program. She works with every single student in the program who is going to field, which is all the students. She will become your new best friend, and you will, during your first year, you will be meeting with her and working out with her where you will be placed when you go into your second year. So you will soon have contact with her when you get into the program, and then she stays in touch with you. She runs field seminars, she makes sure that everything's going well, and she's our hardworking expert on everything to do with field education. So during the first year of the program, as I say, you don't do field. In your second year is when you do your first year of field, and that's called the foundation year of field. You do 16 hours a week, and the focus is on learning about generalist practice, as I explained before. And you will have a broad range of assignments that help students develop competencies in the generalist model that we use. And this model has these stages: engagement, assessment, planning, implementation and evaluation, and termination and follow-up. So you start to become familiar on how to implement this model when intervening with clients. Now, we try to get you a field placement close to where you live, and Shira travels all over the place doing this and setting up your field placements. And we do everything we can to make it as convenient as possible for you. But that's the kind of thing you'll be working out with Shira when you meet with her in the first year of your program. In the advanced year, which is your third year, you will be doing 20 hours a week in the field. Um, when this, you are going to be focusing more on advanced intervention skills in complex situations, and also developing your skills in those three roles I talked about: change agent, interdisciplinary, interagency social worker, and social work leader. So that's your field placement. Some students ask for hours in the evenings, at the weekends, and this we cannot really guarantee this. We expect that you will make the time to complete these hours during the work week. Um, this is really what the field placement is about. And so don't come into the program thinking that you'll be able to do all of this in evenings and weekends, because it's not likely that you will. We will certainly try to work with you, but assume that you're going to have to make accommodations for doing this field placement the program during the work week. And in fact, in your application, we ask you for a field plan where you show us how you're going to make those accommodations. These are the kinds of field placement opportunities that you're likely to have. As you see, there's a wonderful range of opportunities for you: county mental health, working with veterans, working with children, working with the gay and lesbian population, immigrants and refugees, working in substance abuse treatment. So there is a range of experience available to you. Depending on where you live, we will see what's available with you. But these are the kinds of opportunities that we currently have. The other thing I want to say about field placement is this is not something that you set up. We set it up. You might have ideas of somewhere you'd like to be placed, and certainly let Shira know if you know of somewhere. But what has to happen is she has to go out and check on the agency. We have to have a formal contract with them, and we have to make sure that they have the correct supervision for you and the correct experiences for you. So you do not contact agencies directly. It just complicates things. We're always grateful for ideas about places that could become field placements, and as I say, if you have those ideas, then you would contact Shira. But do not, I just want to really underline, do not contact the agency directly, because there just are these procedures that we have to follow to make sure that we give you a good experience in field. So what are the components of field? Well, you have your hours actually working in the field placement that I've explained, but you also have a monthly online seminar which is designed to walk you through your field experience, assist you in making the connection between your classrooms and your field experiences, and it's a place for you to discuss what's going on in field with other students. You also are required to log in and complete some assignments that are there for you in field so that you're ready for these seminars. So this is all set up for you, and this is one area where you will have asynchronous assignments that you can do, but you will be scheduling a synchronous monthly meeting with your field liaison person, and that's again something that Shai will explain to you and work out with you. So that's a brief overview of the program and how to apply. I'm sure you have lots more questions, so here's where you need to go to ask more questions. You can phone the School of Social Work at this number and then choose the pathway option, or you can email the School of Social Work at this email and somebody will get back to you. So I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you apply to our program.